5 speaker brands technicians actually own. Not the showroom names. Not the ones with the marketing budget. Stay until the end. The cheapest brand on this list outperforms speakers 10 times its price. Wharfedale. Founded in Yorkshire in 1932, Wharfedale has been building speakers for nearly a century without ever chasing lifestyle branding. The company takes its name from the valley where it started, and for most of its history, it stayed a quietly British operation focused on one thing: getting the most accurate sound out of the least expensive materials possible. The Diamond series, specifically the Diamond 12.1 and 12.2, costs between $300 and $500 a pair. Woven Kevlar woofers, soft dome tweeters, cabinets that are properly damped instead of dressed up with a glossy finish and hoping nobody notices. In the 1980s, Wharfedale was the entry-level standard in Britain before stepping up to KEF. Practically every British audiophile of that generation owned a pair at some point, the way an entire generation of guitarists all started on the same beginner amplifier. Then the high-margin brands started pushing harder in retail, offering bigger margins to dealers willing to push their gear over the counter, and Wharfedale quietly disappeared from showroom floors because the markup was too thin for retailers to bother stocking it. Nothing about the engineering got worse. The shelf space simply got more expensive than the company was willing to pay for. Ask any audiophile forum for a recommendation under $500. Wharfedale Diamond comes up within the first 5 replies, every single time. The audio press stopped covering them because they don't pay for advertising. The people who actually listen to music never stop buying them. No sponsored gear, no manufacturer relationships, just what the technicians know. Verdict: 90 years of honest engineering sold for less because nobody is paying to market it. That sets the pattern for this list: engineering that outperforms its price tag with no marketing budget behind it. The next brand pushes that idea even further. ELAC. ELAC has built speakers in Germany since 1926, through 2 world wars, several currency collapses, and more ownership changes in the broader German electronics industry than most companies survive even one of. Their American market line is designed by Andrew Jones, one of the most respected speaker engineers alive, previously responsible for reference designs at Pioneer and Teddy. Companies known for laboratory-grade engineering standards rather than showroom theatrics. Jones has a reputation in the industry as the engineer other engineers go to when they want a second opinion on a crossover design, not because he chases trends, but because he simply measures everything twice. The debut 2.0 B6.2 costs around $350 a pair. Independent measurements show a frequency response that competes with speakers 4 to 5 times the price. Woven aramid fiber woofer, phase-coherent crossover. A cabinet braced properly instead of just painted to look expensive. Andrew Jones used the same engineering discipline at Pioneer and TAD that cost thousands per pair. He simply moved the price point down by an order of magnitude for this sign, reportedly because he wanted to prove a point to an industry that insisted serious engineering and an affordable price tag were mutually exclusive. The technicians who know this buy accordingly, often quietly, because admitting you spent $350 on speakers in a hobby built around 4-figure price tags can invite the wrong kind of questions at an audio club meeting. Verdict: reference-level engineering philosophy applied to a price point the high-end press pretends doesn't exist. 2 brands in, and the pattern is obvious. The third name takes a different approach. It fixes something most listeners never even noticed was wrong. KEF, specifically the LS50 Meta. KEF's UniQ driver places the tweeter at the exact acoustic center of the mid-bass cone. In a conventional 2-way speaker, the tweeter and woofer sit physically apart, and the sound from each reaches your ears at slightly different times. That timing difference is small. It is also audible, and it is the reason most speakers have a faint blurriness you can hear without being able to name it. KEF first introduced this idea decades ago, long before point source became a phrase the marketing departments of other brands started borrowing without actually engineering for it. The LS50 Meta eliminates that timing problem entirely. The metamaterial absorption technology on the back of the driver removes the vast majority of high-frequency rear-wave distortion that colors the sound in conventional cabinets. A maze-like structure folded behind the dome that absorbs sound the way acoustic foam absorbs an echo, just at a microscopic scale, originally developed through research into entirely unrelated fields of acoustic engineering before KEF found a way to shrink it down to fit behind a 2-inch tweeter. At around $1,600, this is one of the most rigorously engineered speakers available at any price. Not because KEF spent the budget on a celebrity endorsement, but because they spent it on the driver. Verdict: the engineering budget went into the part you actually hear, not the part you see in a magazine ad. Before the two brands that the consumer hi-fi press refuses to take seriously. If this is the kind of content you want more of, subscribe now. Brand 4 is the reason mastering studios sound the way they do, and almost no hi-fi reviewer will tell you why that matters for your living room. Genelec. Genelec has built active studio monitors in Finland since 1978. Recording studios use them because engineers need to hear exactly what is on the recording, not a flattering version, not a warmer version, the actual recording. The founder built the first model in response to a simple complaint from broadcast engineers who said every speaker they tried colored the sound just enough to make their final mixes unreliable once they reached a listener's living room. That complaint became the entire design brief for the company, and decades later, it still is. The Genelec 8030C costs around $800 a pair and includes automatic room correction, DSP, that measures your room acoustically and adjusts the output to compensate. The same core technology mastering studios depend on to make sure what they hear is what ends up on the final mix. You can buy that technology for less than many mid-range consumer speakers cost. The reason the hi-fi press almost never recommends Genelec is structural. There is no upgrade path to sell you. No separate amplifier, no exotic cables, no preamp. You connect it to a source, and the music is simply there. That simplicity removes every future purchase the traditional hi-fi industry depends on, which is exactly why technicians buy them for themselves and reviewers rarely mention them. Verdict: the speaker and entire industry has a financial incentive not to recommend. Two studio brands now, both proving the same point. The people who make music don't buy what the showroom sells. The final name didn't even start in speakers. Neumann. Neumann built its reputation on microphones. The U87 condenser has been the recording industry standard for 60 years, the microphone that sits in front of more platinum records than almost any other piece of equipment in studio history. In 2010, they entered the monitor speaker market with one objective: build the most accurate near-field monitor available at the price, with nothing added for show. The KH150 costs around $1,400 each and is used by mastering engineers at Abbey Road and Electric Lady because it is simply the most accurate speaker available at that price point. The smaller KH80, around $700 each, is considered by independent measurement sites to be the best measuring speaker under $1,000 per unit. Neumann does not run lifestyle marketing campaigns. No celebrity partnerships, no magazine spreads. They build one product for one purpose, telling you exactly what is on the recording, and the people who make recordings for a living trust their own careers to that accuracy. A mastering engineer who hears a flaw on a Neumann monitor and misses it gets blamed for the record. That is a different kind of pressure than a hobbyist deciding whether a speaker sounds warm enough on a Saturday afternoon. Verdict: the brand with 60 years of professional trust, sold without a marketing budget because professionals don't need to be sold to. Here is the principle I want you to take away from this video. One sentence: the marketing tax is real, and every dollar a brand spends convincing you to buy it is a dollar that did not go into the driver, the crossover, or the cabinet. 3 words: specified, measured, honest. Every brand on this list passes all 3. That is not a coincidence. It is the reason technicians buy them with their own money instead of whatever sits under the brightest light in the showroom. Subscribe if this changed what you would buy next. Which brand here did you already own? Drop it below.